This is Reba. She's a tree and walker female owned by Chris McKee from Louisiana. She sent in here to get a little training and straighten up some problems we might have here with the coondog. She's a nice pup. We've been hunting her pretty hard, and she will tree you a coon. She'll sure do that. Here's Shannon playing with these dogs in the yard there, daylight, getting them to stick on a tree good with a drag or a cage coon. They get to fight a little cage coon through the wire and create a lot of interest before we go out with them. Don't want to waste our time going out in the woods, the dog won't hunt. When we get out there, you'll know what we're looking for. A lot of times what we do here with these young dogs, or dogs with a problem, is do this during the day, and then do the same thing at night, back of the house in the woods back there, with a cage coon, but at night. Maybe let them run a little drag and then tree up. Got this dog tied off to the tree where she will not leave the tree. She cannot leave the tree. When you're fooling with a young dog, you know, there's several things that can cause problems. Backtracking is a problem that mostly man-made. Okay, this little tree and walker female is owned by Chris McKee from Louisiana. Her name is Reba. She's in here to be trained a little bit about staying on the tree and not backtracking. And what we've got here, we're hunting her by herself. When Shannon first got her in, he hunted 2 nights with another dog to kind of figure out what she was doing. She did real good. Stays on the tree good with another dog and does real good. However, he said when he walked up on him, she left the tree and got smelling around, and he just needs a little bit of encouragement. So what he's doing here, he's teaching this dog how to stay up on the tree. And he'll hold her up there, and he put her up there, and he'll pet her, and this is how he does it. And then at one time in here, he backs off and he takes the cord and he wraps it around the tree. There it is, where she can't get off that tree. And he'll go back over and sit down and blow that coon caller. You can hear him get her excited out there. And she's doing good. Now, while she was hunting, she found her own coon and treed it right there. And, which was very good. He noticed on the GPS when she treed, after she treed, before he could get to her, she left there and ran the track backwards for a ways and then turned around, went back, treed some more. And the second time she took off of that tree, he headed her off and caught her on that backtrack. And did a little, tuned her up a little bit for doing that. Turned her loose and she ran back and stayed on the tree. And he's hunted her, several times after that, and he said she'll hang around that tree pretty good now. So he hadn't had a chance to get after her for backtracking again. But I'm sure before her 30 days are up in here, or 60 days or whatever, she'll be needing that again. Now let's talk a little bit about backtracking and what might cause that. Generally, when you're starting a young dog off, a lot of these people start one off with a hide or a cage coon like we do, and drag it around in daylight and have them tree up and try to get them to treeing. And a lot of times they'll hit a tree and let the dog tree a little bit. Then they'll tie the dog off right there, take the coon down and drag it to another tree. You leave that tree with the coon and you go to another tree and put it up. And then you come down from that little tree after the dog trees a while and you go to another little tree. Well, what you're actually doing is telling the dog, you tree a little while here, then you can get off this tree and go to another one. And you've taught the dog how to do that. Another thing, too, is calling the dog off when she's treed. If you want her to come back to you and you call her off, well, you can get them pretty confused. That's a nice thing to do, but you can get them pretty confused if they're not seasoned dogs, especially starting young dogs. Another thing he'll do it too is fighting around a tree. You get a dog that's treeing pretty good and then another dog jumps on him. He'll have a lot of trouble staying on that tree. He remembers that. So a lot of things can go wrong in the first part of a young dog's training that's man-made. then you're trying to overcome it the rest of the dog's life. It's hard to break a bad habit. I'd rather start off doing it right, and then you don't have to retrain the dog. And then it could be that the dog is just bred that way. A lot of these bloodlines are not real strong tree dogs.